Alright guys, today we are really going to focus on the end of a realistic fiction story. In this presentation, we are going to review what makes realistic fiction work. These are called realistic fiction strategies. You're going to need your writer's notebook out in order to take notes on these lessons and the slides that are going to be coming through. And I also want you to keep an end in mind that when we're done with this lesson, I want you to ask yourself, how can I use what is in this lesson in my writing when I draft today? Because that's what we're going to do after this mini lesson is draft, draft, and draft some more. Here we go, let's get started. So you guys are probably sick of me saying show not tell, but I just really want you to understand how important these details that you put into your writing in order to show the reader what's going on are. Remember that in order to show, not tell, your story, you want to use words to act out what the characters in your story are doing or saying. I need you to add internal thoughts or feelings of your characters into your story, and please make sure that you're showing or painting what the character hears and sees. Guys, your problem is the big piece of this writing, right? You are finding the most important part of your story when you're looking at the problem, and then you're saying more about it. You guys, you need to make sure that your problem in your writing is clear as day. Remember, this is going to be how your readers learn from your writing based on the problem that your character goes through. So if you have not yet figured out if your problem is clear enough, make sure you are doing that today before we go through and work with our partners this week. After you've really invested time into the problem, the solution is where the moment comes into play, right? In order to really make the solution available to your readers, you need to make sure that you are clearly showing and revealing the solution to your readers. Remember, this is where your readers learn. So think about what clues that you need to give your readers so that they understand the theme of your writing. Remember guys, last week we talked about the difference between plot and theme. Plot is right there in black and white, and theme is what readers get beyond the text of the story. And now it's time to start thinking about the end of your realistic fiction story. When you get to finishing up your realistic fiction writing, you need to concentrate on an ending that continues to stay close to the heart of the story. Your job with the ending of your writing is to convince us, the readers, that the character has learned a lesson or has changed in some way. Again, if you notice, it's a little bit important. The ending always stays true to the heart of the story. I should not end your realistic fiction book and go, that's the first time I ever heard of that. We should be able to fully understand why the end is the way that it is. I have a couple of visuals here that I think could be helpful when it comes to ending your story. There are a few different things to think about. One of the things that you could think about is ending your story with some sort of reflection. A reflection is something that is like an aha moment that the main character has. Here's an example here. I reflect on a situation that happened and I realized I'm a much stronger athlete than I thought. Repetition is another way to end a story. Circle back. End the story in the same way you started it. This is a very strong strategy for ending stories. This one is going to be something that is going to come natural for some of you and actually going to be harder for others. Ending with a moral or a lesson. Your character could learn that when she believed in herself, Some people choose to end their realistic fiction stories with more advice. The next time you go sledding, make sure you check the bikes. Or I learned, some people choose to take these last two, a lesson that they learned, and then give advice about the lesson. That works fine. Another way to end your writing is through a big feeling. Because of the story that just happened, I am so thankful for my friends. It taught me a lot. Another way to end a story is by a wish, a hope, or a dream. I hope that the character learns that whatever the lesson of the story is. Some of you, those of you who usually are ones who love cliffhangers, will end your writing with a cliffhanger too. A cliffhanger is when you end with an exciting problem that isn't solved yet, that makes the reader keep thinking. Some of you are going to choose to write a question to end your writing. Will she ever not believe? I sure hope so. Here's the one thing, guys, that I want you to not do. I do not want you to end with a sentence like, and then I went home, the end. Notice here where I have the end and abrupt the end is not something that is applicable for writing in our middle school level of writing. I have two different endings here that I want you guys to think about and just see the difference between the two. Here's the first ending. You mean I can keep them? Yes, Jamal, Miss Tilly said softly. Then in her usual volume she blasted, now get this mess cleaned up. The kids hurried Buff back to the basement. I'm so glad I can keep Buff, Jamal said. That was the first ending. Now listen to the second ending. You mean I can keep them? Yes, Jamal, Miss Tilly said softly. Then, in her usual volume, she blasted, now get this mess cleaned up. The kids herded Buff back to the basement. This has taught me that even the scariest creature might have a secret soft side, said Jamal. Yeah, Luke agreed. Buff is a cool dog. I don't mean Buff, said Jamal. I mean Miss Tilly. So thinking about the two examples that you just had on the slide before this one, look at both versions with me. Both versions technically have a happy ending. The first ending, though, kind of sounds flat. It's not all that interesting, and I wasn't really engaged even when I was reading it out loud to you. The second ending, however, it actually made me smile a little bit. This is because of how Jamal refers to Miss Tilly as a scary creature. Luke thinks Jamal was referring to the dog, so it's funny that Jamal finishes with a punchline that means Miss Tilly. This ending is realistic, guys. It's funny. The main character learns something from what happens, and we enjoy being reminded as readers that people are not always the way that they seem. Do you see how the clues that were in that second ending led us to this lesson that we learned? That's what I'm talking about when it comes to ending your own realistic fiction story. So now it's your turn, guys. Today you need to ask yourself a couple of questions before you begin drafting. Does my draft have all of the components that were in this presentation in it? If not, how am I going to add them in here? And then I am asking you, what are you going to do to make sure that this story is wrapped up well and ends the way that you want it? You are in charge at the end of your writing. So use these questions to help you draft for the rest of the day in ELA. By now, your draft should be getting ready to go into Storyboard if it's not there yet. I look forward to reading with you more today and working with you tomorrow on some self-reflection of where we are with our draft. See you there.